Well, the topic I want to discuss with you in this video is one that many scholars disagree on, and actually I want to share the solution to this problem with you. Guys, when you are working on your keywords and you see this eligible status, many times you encounter the message, ad isn't showing. The first thing I need to tell you is that, well, it's saying that this keyword is eligible. The next point is that it's saying the ad isn't being shown. Now, a few sparks should ignite in our minds. The first topic is that, guys, we need to know that Google acts based on 3 actions. If you remember, I mentioned earlier that the results now can differ from before. We tested it together and saw that sometimes the ad might be displayed and sometimes it might not be shown. This topic I'm mentioning starts exactly here. I'm not concerned with the explanation below right now. I'll talk about it. What is this? Well, it says, and the search location doesn't match this campaign's location targeting setting, which I have pointed out and discussed elsewhere. This means we need to have the mindset that my ad might not always be displayed. But it also mentions some other reasons. First of all, guys, Google has a tool called Ad Preview and Diagnosis. Well, I'll open this for you and talk about it. What does it do? Some people keep searching it themselves and we say, guys, don't do it. Why? Guys, one thing that happens is that when you search it yourself, it gets caught by a robot and might not show it to you anymore. The negative point is that when you're searching it yourself, you're getting impressions and it lowers the CTR. Does this happen for others too? Yes, but consider the partition I mentioned earlier alongside this issue. This tool is for you to use without having to search and create impressions. It's as if Google itself performs a test action, a test search. Well, since I've set the location target to the US, it conducts the test with the US in mind. I've said it here, and what you're seeing, or if your campaign location is different from what I'm testing, it won't match. Even if it runs a test, it won't change, and this is what happens. This is the first reason. The next point is that even if the location, for example, the USA, isn't set and it conducts a test, it doesn't mean it will always be displayed. Just as your impression rate is dropping, here it seems like you're seeing a model of a test search. Well, in more detail, when I go into this ad preview and diagnostics tool, whether from there or from the tool itself, in fact, you can bring it up from the tool settings of ad preview and diagnostics. Or for example, I model a purchase of a specific product or a location like Istanbul, Turkey, or more. For instance, let's say I choose Iraq, okay, just as an example. Now I haven't set the location, okay, in what language. Turkish, I say, okay, I don't want Turkish, I say, okay, mobile device, mobile user, not in audiences. It says, okay, the user who is not even in the audience, it specifies up to that point. Mobile devices, for instance, usually have a higher chance of being displayed. Let's see, guys, this test is taking effect, okay? And when I press this, it also shows data here. First of all, this shouldn't cause you stress. I should do something, and I definitely have a display. Sometimes you might hit the bar a lot and have a display. And sometimes you might have a display once. This is exactly about the same action, okay? And this consistency is the same. The data should be shown for your quality score as you have it in quality. Therefore, even if this isn't the case, sometimes it says, sir, you weren't shown due to a few reasons, like low ad rank. At that moment, it's modeling a search, and it might be that those who entered your auction have a heavy ad rank, and you might not be displayed at all. Well, there was a gap with that ad rank, which was actually in the middle of everything. It's the same thing. We sometimes say in strategy, where it says, should I raise the bid? It doesn't precisely tell you that the auction is generally heavy. Well, if I want to build it, you won't be displayed either, and it won't be useful anymore. So say, well then, this is a model test of your search, and I'm searching them, for example, to see how they are displayed here. Now, for example, it might be that it shows something. Suppose we unify it and do a search to see how it turns out. And I might see it, or not. Sir, you might hit this 1,000 times and not see it for various reasons. Well, the reason you're saying this here, of course, is to look at this part. The search engine doesn't match this campaign location targeting setting. Well, so this is closed. For example, Iran doesn't have it 200 times as usual. Suppose I set it to Afghanistan, for example. And again, you say location targeting doesn't match. I look at the location targeting to see what we did. I am checking the location targeting. I come here to the target location in the campaign setting. We closed all the locations in this case. Whatever was there or not, I think, but no, something happened. Now, many of them, even those I don't have, I put on the page. It mentions Afghanistan. It mentions Turkey, for example. It mentions Arsha, for example. Another country that doesn't come to mind, like Canada. Let's see if it brings it up. We might also type in English. This is the same device story. I say, for example, we might not see Canada. And again, we might not see it. Oh, we saw it. Let's say a loud blessing. Your ad is shown right now. Didn't you model it? I was modeling it again. It modeled. Where am I displayed in this action? I come to this ash. Do you see? I was displayed here in this action, but I'm not constantly displayed here. Well, then it says, sir, in your off extension, your call out and strategy have not been shown to you. It even tells you that you are eligible, but a different extension with better expected performance was shown. It says, sir, I showed another extension with better performance. Well, it also says, sir, it was not shown. Okay, so it says, sir, for the keyword, for something like this, for buying, it has a glossy thread. It says, this keyword has been fired. Well, let me hit this again to see its mobile preview. Let's see. I'll hit this again. It might not be shown. See, I'm making a purchase of 9 of these. Now, guys, this is giving you a hint about one of the overlaps here. Again, I'm saying this, you don't need to check its details every day. It's not important at all. You have the data, but I'm saying you should know it. The reason for it not showing is another issue. At this point, Google itself has a tool, and I'm standing on eligible for this. This an ad isn't showing now. At the moment, let me put it here, it says something else. It has a tool that says find out why your ad isn't showing now. Find out. The ad isn't showing now. Find out why you may not see your app. Well, this tool is for you to finally see the reason for low visibility. Or guys, I say again, I have a test here. It says that it's not showing, but it's not important. The first issue is that I have an auction understanding. The second issue is that I currently have a location, and even that wasn't important. Again, for example, I did the same with Canada. I hit the wall. I searched. But I wanted to tell you how it's doing this job well. And the next point here is a find out that says, I just created an ad, but I don't know if it's running. I created it, but I don't know. It says, I used to see the ad, but now I can't see it. One of the things that is very common is this. Well, I select it. It says, sir, your ad has been approved. We saw that, yes, it says, your credit hasn't been declined. I say no. It says, sir, does your ad actually have data? I say yes. This gives the results, guys. This helps with your analysis. What does this tool say? One thing is that it checks if location targeting is correct or not. It might not match with the attribute or what you think you are searching for. This is one of the signs you might not see. It says the average daily budget might have been reduced. This is one of the issues that the guys are dealing with. A low budget can also cause you not to get impressions, or it might not even be touched. Another very important point is that you might have set the ad schedule incorrectly. For example, if you set it to run until 9 p.m., but you are checking it at 11 p.m., obviously you won't see it. Well, The next point is searching for your own ad on Google. Guys, I'm not saying this. Google is saying it. It says if you repeatedly search for yourself, but never clicking, you might not see it anymore. Because Google's system recognizes you. From here, from here, from here, from here, from here, from here. The system recognizes you and stops showing it. In fact, why advertise to you? Because it stops. They say, really, why should I show this ad to these people when they don't even click on it? It's also about making money. And from all that experience, when you say those people have a problem, look, kid, you're giving two negative signals to it against that negative CTR, or there's a problem with that expected CTR here. It often bursts, especially when they throw different rotors. But it forms them and no longer shows them. This is the help that Google itself is providing. Or you are signaling to it that this group is not useful, that I didn't enjoy it. Or you say, sir, I am not at all connected with this topic. Hi. Or I don't deal with this group at all. Or there is no interest. You say, sir, instead of doing this, go and use the tool I just told you about. Well, instead of embracing it, this causes that. Prevent you from racking up impressions while you try to look at your app when you want to chase after your ad, which is a mistake that has been mentioned 1,000 times. This happens sometimes, and it might also be that the account is under review. Well, guys, this action that repeats might take it under review for the points it receives. Don't be afraid. Sometimes you see the traffic becomes safe. You have to be patient. It doesn't require any action, and it doesn't give any notification either. The officials also say, sir, it takes 3 business days, but sometimes it might take longer. You have to be patient. They say, how is this? They say, sir, it's designed this way to ensure that alongside this matter, it can maintain your security. Additionally, sir, it can also preserve the quality of your ads, okay? And finally, this matter might lead you to check different models. You say, sir, I can't proceed because I see it, but then I can't see it again. You say the number is approved. You say yes. You say the card is declined. You say no. It comes here and says again about location targeting, saying, sir, you've stressed yourself so much, you've skinned the system, and the reason is due to low quality score. Another reason it says, look, I know my run, I had a reason too. It says, sir, another reason might be a low quality score, when you have a low quality score. Or may not show at all, you might not be seen at all, so why does it want to maintain quality? When you use this tool, you can practice building your mindset to find out why you may not see your ad. On the other hand, I don't remember that I have an auction, so I might not always be displayed in the space. Well, and other parameters that are in between. You can't say, I got 100% of these promotion shares in all these cases. Of course, those with higher promotion shares are more likely to be seen. Again, I have these locations, and if these locations weren't there, this limitation in attribution diagnosis would allow me to see many other things happening. Well, if you search exactly for this, another point I'll tell you here about overlap. Don't make these definitive. It says, sir, buying embroidery thread with 5 keywords and 3 ad groups in a store can be parsed with which keyword the embroidery supplies were bought. Because the brother can take it, he bought the embroidery thread himself. Buying the embroidery thread gives a dead-end view here that says, sir, look, you added this and you added that. I feel like here it's a bit... It says both an embroidery fabric and an embroidery thread. Usually when you put this in your general ad group, you don't put it in your restricted ad groups anymore. Usually, and you start increasing the exact phrases in the rest. Someone comes up and you start extracting outputs from it for other places. And this perspective also tells you, sir, it might be seen, but was not shown for this particular situation. Part altogether another time. Accent is also important in diagnosis. Or due to certain conditions, it was not displayed to you. Now you need to analyze the conditions. It might have low ad rank, or any of these could be the reason. That's your data speaking to you. So I just mentioned this so you know what this tool is, but don't go checking it every 24 years. It's not necessary. If you need help, you won't be able to do it. In fact, the point is to have a comprehensive view of the subject or a subpoint so it doesn't stress you out. This is Not showing now shouldn't stress you out. This is related to the topic, and I mentioned it to help you have a better analytical mindset in certain areas. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.